This is ESPN Esports. I'm Arda Ocal. 100 Thieves Valorant have a new player. Their third player officially signed to the starting roster is Steel. The former CSGO, longtime CSGO competitor, has decided to give competitive Valorant a try and now will do so under the 100 Thieves banner. Couple things to unpack here. This is a very interesting decision because according to reporting from Jacob Wolf and Tyler Erzberger, Steel had also been trying out with other teams, most notably T1. And that's significant because a lot of his former iBuyPower teammates are currently part of the T1 roster, of course, with Brax, AZK, and Skadoodle. So the fact that he decided to choose 100 Thieves and side with Hiko and Nitr0 is a very interesting one. But also you can see it from the side of, we see a big veteran presence there with CSGO, former CSGO pros moving on over to Valorant. And it seems like Steel preferred 100 Thieves, preferred Hiko and Nitr0 as teammates, and certainly has made that decision. And now we publicly know that Steel will be with 100 Thieves. Now, this is not the first time reportedly that a player has chosen 100T over T1. This similar situation happened with Nitr0, and in fact, it might have been a little bit more severe in the sense that T1 might have thought that they were getting Nitr0, that it was all but signed, sealed, and delivered. But then at the 11th hour, or whatever the timing actually was, Nitr0 decided, you know what, I'm going to go on over to Hiko and 100 Thieves. Before that, of course, 100 Thieves completely blew up the roster, keeping Hiko, but parting ways with the former PUBG pros and leaving one player left on the roster. Now Hiko building that roster, presumably at the forefront in his ilk, and now we know that Nitr0 and Steel are a part of that roster. We do have an interview with Hiko and Nitr0 available on our YouTube channel. You can definitely check it out. It seemed like they were going to take their time, and there was no rush in terms of putting a roster together. I have heard from sources that have scrimmed with 100 Thieves that they have been scrimming with the same 5 players, or at least giving looks to a lot of familiar names. So we are seeing some names habitually pop up in scrims according to some players, and now we know that Steel has joined the roster. And so what I also like about this is we're already seeing some great rivalries form in Valorant. We already have TSM versus Sentinels, the fact that they don't like each other and they've publicly said so, and they bring the best out of each other while playing the game, and that is so apparent. Look no further than the FaZe Clan Grand Finals, that in one of the best showings that we've ever seen in Valorant in its young competitive career, in young competitive scene. That was truly la creme de la creme in terms of competition. So that rivalry certainly lives on as we have winded down the Ignition series. But now we have a little bit of a new rivalry forming. These two rosters that have made some changes. T1, of course, also parting ways with players like Crashies and Food. So they have some roster spots to fill. And it seems as though those two teams are at the forefront for signing major former CSGO players. Like I mentioned, Nitr0 and now Steel. And both of them have decided to go to 100 Thieves. So when both of these rosters are completely set, it's going to be interesting to see how they interact against each other the first time they do play in a major competitive tournament. I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not we're going to see some fireworks there, especially at the executive level, because these executives have had conversations with these players, and it certainly has to sting, especially if you think you're getting a player and you're right there and you're about to sign on the dotted line, and then all of a sudden that player pulls a full 180 and decides, I'm going to go somewhere else. That certainly doesn't feel good, and it certainly motivates you to see your team succeed against that player's team wherever they may end up. So now, at least in 2 cases, it seems, that has happened to T1 against 100 Thieves, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing them play and what kind of back and forth we get from the players and also on social media. It should be a lot of fun. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Steel signing with 100 Thieves. Also, let us know for both 100 Thieves and T1 which players you would like to see sign with both of those rosters. What will the final rosters for both 100T and T1 look like? What names interest you, whether they're currently pledged to be Valorant pros or not? Let us know in the comments below.